What's good, people? We are here with another reaction. We're about to react to A Knights of the Seven Kingdoms final trailer.
Buried my courage alongside the old man.
The new episode is coming out next week, and we're giving the final trailer, so I'm going to give you some Easter eggs, what's going on, breakdowns while we react to this trailer, and yeah, we're going to have fun with it. So first we have to start off with the Seven Knights. Why have we got Seven Knights? Because they're going to do the trial by seven, which is where Aerion decided, look, let's do a trial, because there's no way I can beat you going one-on-one. Now he gets into a scuffle with Aerion Targaryen, and Aerion wants his head. So the only way they can make this just, that Balon, who is the hand of the king, can make this just, is the fact that they do a trial by seven, and we have the Seven Knights. Now throughout this season, the challenge is really for Ser Duncan to get these Seven Knights. And he, of course, is one of the knights. So it'll be the other six. So this is why we're seeing the Seven Knights at the beginning of the show. And this, at the beginning of this particular scene. And this is going to be epic.
What's your name?
Ser Duncan the Tall.
This is going to be crazy.
Ser Duncan the Tall.
You
know every night in the Seven Kingdoms then.
The good ones.
That's a big point right there. That's a big point, because Aegon, who is the young boy, is bold because he doesn't really even show that he's a Targaryen. They don't really want to put that as an emphasis on the poor kid. He's saying that basically, why isn't I don't know you? Because he's taught all the good knights. He knows all the good knights in the kingdom. He's a Targaryen. Like, they're taught all these things. And so Duncan's like, why you acting like you need to know me? He's like, you know, I know the good ones because they tell me about the good ones. I know all these knights. He's the one that basically he'd be a good go-to, and I think that's what he becomes for Ser Duncan. He becomes the go-to to help Ser Duncan to find who's the best knights, who's in the King's Guards, because, you know, especially in the King's Guard, they got a lot of good knights. So I think this is why it's so significant that he's saying, yeah, I've heard of the good ones because I'm taught that.
Sir Ireland raised me to be a true knight.
You know, he's saying how much his own knight that knighted him taught him about honor and integrity. That's so important in this particular show, and you're going to see the difference between him and especially with Aerion Targaryen. Not everyone has that, and that's what he's trying to show in this particular show.
Ser Duncan the Tall.
Wow.
Night eye.
Woo! So this is where we get into Balon. Balon is now asking Ser Duncan, okay, you say you're a knight, but how good are you really though? And he's asking him that question because this is going to be a serious situation. He is going to have to get involved in this. The fact that this is going to become a 7-on-7, he needs to know what he's working with. He's also telling Ser Duncan that, are you sure about this? Because you're about to go against the best knights, the best men. Because Aerion Targaryen is going to pick the best men. Are you sure about this? So that's why he's posing that question. How good of a knight are you really? Are you really sure that you're ready for this kind of heat?
Journey is a contest for knights.
That's true. I think that reaction is based on what they just asked. They said, tourney is a contest for knights. They're basically looking at Ser Duncan and thinking, no way you can be a knight. You don't even look like a knight. They're basically saying that he does not look capable of being a knight. No way is he a knight. That's why they're asking. They're telling him, like, this is what it's for. So what Ser Duncan's going to have to do a lot of the time in this particular show is prove that. You need to prove that you're a knight. That's what they're asking. And he's going to have to prove how much of a knight he really is. And this is where his courageous comes in. And this is where he develops in this particular role in a confidence. Because he's having to showcase himself, showcase his skills. And that's what we're going to get in this season. They ain't taking him serious. Oh, wow, the Targaryens. This is a big point that they just showed. Aerion, in that particular clip, shows him taking a sword off someone's back. Due to the fact that he don't fight honorably. And Ser Duncan said, I need to fight honorably. Those are the two dynamics here. We've got the people that are honorable in the way they fight, the people that they're brought with the needs and training of and the importance of being honorable. You know, that's what Aerion doesn't have, and they haven't showed the diversity between.
I think I'm buried.
Balon is telling him, I'm in a situation right now. Balon is telling him, I'm in a situation right now that Aerion just told me that you offended him. and they've put me in a sticky situation. So he's letting Ser Duncan know, like, look, he wants your head. I rather another solution. So he's telling Ser Duncan, look, like, bro, this is how it look right now. And you could tell in this particular scene how much of a more fair guy he is. He's more of a just guy as a Targaryen, you know. And it's funny because you can barely tell as a Targaryen with his dark head, but you know that's due to the whole Dawn background. And it's very interesting that he's told him, like, look, everyone wants your head. I'm trying right now to make this fair. So are you sure you're up to the task?
Old man.
And so,
They're getting ready.
how good a knight are you?
Curious. Balon has to ask him again, like, are you sure you're ready for what's going to happen? He's having to just repeat himself, like, this is going to be trial by. Like, this 7 combat is going to be insane. Are you sure you're as good as you say you are? Because your life is on the line right now. This ain't no joke. This ain't no play. He's trying to be as fair as possible, but if this guy really is the knight he says he is, how good of a knight are you? You know, so it then starts, you start to see the other knights that fight behind his back from the other houses as well. You know, so it's going to be interesting.
We'll see.
Oh, let's go.
So be brave. Be just. Be
This is really the knights getting together now and telling Ser Duncan, like, be you. Be that brave guy. Be that just guy. And be that tall guy. Be who you are. Be who you are. And I think that's very important, that it's trying to let us know in this show that you got to be yourself. It's very, 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 very important. Be yourself and be ready and set. You know, so it's that particular statement is very inspirational, and I think it's going to drive this. Just going to be such an amazing it's going to be an amazing series. A lot we can unpack from here. You know, one big thing that they're talking about here is honor. You know, Ser Duncan is a good man, very, you know, with good values at times in a harsh world where people who do bad things, you know, they're able to do it so justly, or it seems as though they don't get, you know, you don't get punished. There's no, you know, there's no issues in doing bad. There's no problems in doing it at all. You can fairly do it with no problems at all. In every righteous path to do bad. You know, like, that's completely fine. And I think that's what Aryan thrives off. You know, Aryan thrives off being that bully, being the person who can stand on people, being the person who can do what he wants with no repercussions at all. And I think this is what really is the main theme, where we've got the antagonist in Aryan, and he's going against Ser Duncan, who is the complete opposite. One other thing is that, of course, throughout this particular season, he's going to have to prove that he's a knight. Prove that he's got people that can step up with him as well. You know, to really see what bravery entails, you know. It's going to be a real big tale of bravery, integrity, alliances, having a circle of people that can believe you, having a circle of people that can trust you. Because this trial is going to be crazy. You know, a lot of the Game of Thrones trials, they're showing a bit with Tyrion. I think a lot of the trials you see are people who normally don't have no one aside them, and they need someone to step up and be brave, and someone might do it for a particular reason or two. You see, Tyrion was going through that. You know, you can see his first trial was it was in a veil. You know, it was in a veil, and he was able to get himself out of that situation. He then got arrested again, you know, got put in prison, got put in trial again. And in this particular case, we have Ser Duncan, that rather than them kill him, he's had the opportunity now to say, okay, you need to then find someone who can believe in you, you know. So that's going to be a big thing as well, having to find someone that can actually, you know, believe in him. This is going to be a crazy, crazy season. We're also going to see a lot of references from Game of Thrones, especially because we have Aegon, we have Egg. You know, you guys will know him from, of course, The Night's Watch. So that's going to be amazing to see. We can't wait to see how his character unfolds as a boy. And he's actually the brother of Aryan, you know. So we're going to see the dynamics between those two, because it's funny how two people can be under the same household. One is completely different than the other. Egg is the one who doesn't show his hair. his blonde hair because, or I'd say white hair, you know, rather than Aaron, who's so proud. You can see he's so proud as an antagonist, so proud as a Targaryen. His proudness really is where his wickedness comes from, because he feels as though anyone else is beneath him. You know, so beneath him. He feels as though everyone is so beneath him, and that he himself he's on top. He's looking down at him with all wickedness, and that's what makes him so wicked. Makes him so evil. You know, he's looking down. He can't see at the same eye level, and that is what really drives the show. He's not really showing a good representation for the Targaryens. You know, so another thing is about family as well. You know, we have Balin. He, of course, is the uncle of Aerion, and he's been mixed into this. You know, family is family, and you're gonna see how they're gonna have to stick together, and how what one action of the family member does can affect everybody else. So that's gonna be another aspect of this show that we're gonna see. You know, if you've read the books, you'll definitely know where this goes for sure. I'm trying to give no spoilers, but we're gonna do a lot more breakdowns when the first episode comes. Of course, we're gonna see how it goes, and who knows, they might make some differences, a few spins, a few things that they showed, that they'll probably show in the actual show that they might not show in the books. We're gonna see all of those things, so that's gonna be interesting to see as well. We can't wait to see it. Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. Let's go.